Hello, everyone. For today, I will be discussing the muscles of the thoracic limb. So usually, yung mga muscles ng thoracic limb, it is usually composed of intrinsic at saka yung extrinsic muscles. Pero for the thoracic limb, they are grouped based on their attachment. Okay? So, yung mga muscles within ng attachment na to, it's usually we have the muscles acting on shoulder girdle, the muscles acting on shoulder joint, and the elbow, and the carpus, and then in the digits. However, in my entire discussion later on, you will be encountering yung mga subgroup ng mga muscles na to, which are usually further divided as a flexor, as an extensor, as an adductor, and as well as an abductor. Okay, so let's start with the muscles and the shoulder girdle. So we have here the trapezius muscle. So this is usually a flat triangular sheath ng muscle. So, usually, it is being subdivided into two types. We have the trapezius cervicalis and then we have the trapezius thoracis. Okay? So, ano ba yung function ng trapezius muscle? So, ang pinaka-function lang naman nito is yung movement. Kaya tumutulong siya in the movement of the scapula sa mga animals natin. Although sa human, ganun din naman, tumutulong din siya in the movement of the shoulder blade. So etong mga muscles na to, sila yung kumokontrol, sila yung tumutulong na kumontrol yung position and movement ng scapula para ma-allow yung pag-swing forward and backward as part of the overall shoulder girdle movement. So paano ba yung pag-swing forward and backward? So pag yung retraction ng scapula, if these trapezius muscle usually contract, tumutulong sila na makapag-retract sa scapula para ma-pull it closer to the spine. So etong movement na to, it's usually associated sa pulling or is squeezing the shoulder blades together, which can be useful in posture control and sa paghila ng mga objects towards the body of the animal. However, in terms of its scapular protraction, if the trapezius muscles are in the relaxed state or usually eccentrically contracted, okay? So parang ang ibig lang sabihin nun is lengthening while under tension, they will allow the scapula to move forward away from the spine naman. So etong movement na to, it's usually involved sa in reaching forward, in pushing, and even in extending the arms. So yun lang naman yung function ng trapezius muscles. It controls the movement of the scapula, either it swings forward or backward. Okay, then you can see only, we have here the rhomboideus muscle. However, you can just only see the rhomboideus muscle. Okay, take note of this. You can just see only the rhomboideus muscle if the trapezius muscle will be removed. Kasi etong rhomboideus muscle, it is much deeper than the trapezius. Okay, so it is usually composed of three parts and it is usually named based on their area and the neck region. So we have here the rhomboideus capitis, the rhomboideus cervicis, and then we have the rhomboideus thoracis. So in terms of the rhomboideus capitis, ang origin niya is it usually originates from the occipital bone at the base of the skull. Okay? So etong muscle na to, siya yung tumutulong sa movement and stabilization ng scapula in the cervical region of the animal. And yung pag-tilt ng head and neck, siya din yung responsible for this one. Okay? And then the rhomboideus cervicis muscle, it usually originates from the cervical vertebrae, specifically from the spinous processes ng mga vertebrae na to. In the neck, we have the cervical region. Okay? So responsible din siya for the scapular movement and stability. And then we have the last one, the rhomboideus thoracis. Doon naman siya nag-originate from the spinous processes of the thoracic vertebrae, particularly in the region of the withers in quadruped animals, like for example, sa horses. Okay? While yung precise origin points ng muscle na to, yung thoracis, it could vary between different species. However, always take note that it is common for the rhomboideus thoracis to attach to the spinous processes of the thoracic vertebrae in the range of third thoracic vertebrae until 10th thoracic vertebrae. Kasi kung makikita ninyo in a common vertebrae, if you could remember doon sa previous discussion ko noon sa skeletal system, for the thoracic region, it's usually around 13 na thoracic vertebrae. Pero in terms of rhomboideus thoracis, nandoon siya sa either nasa T3 hanggang T10. Okay, nandoon na part. Pero as what I've said, it could vary kung saan man siya makikipag-attach based on the species. Okay, and then another one, we have the serratus ventralis. It is the largest and most important muscle attaching the thoracic limb to the trunk in various animals, including yung mga farm animals natin. Okay, so it is a large fan-shaped muscle. So ano ba yung origin niya? It origins or it originates from the transverse processes of the cervical and thoracic vertebrae, okay? And from the ribs along a curved line just above the sternum. So yung muscle, it usually extends, yung origin ng muscle, it extends as far back as the 10th costal cartilage, which is associated with the last rib na siya. Okay? In terms of insertion, it is at the medial side of the dorsal portion of the scapula. So meaning to say, etong muscle na to, it attaches to the inside of the scapula para ma-allow yung influence ng movement ng shoulder blade. Okay? So ano ba yung function ng serratus ventralis muscle? So it is a fan shape. Okay? It is a fan shape that it usually supports the thoracic limb and trunk. Okay? So nagpo-form siya ng sling on each side of the body para ma-support yung trunk between the thoracic limbs. Okay? And then we have here another one, the omotransversarius. Ito naman, it originates from the transverse processes of the more cranial cervical vertebrae. Okay, so these are the vertebrae that are located closer to the head and neck region of the animals natin. Now, in terms of the insertion, etong muscle na to, it inserts on the distal part of the spine of the scapula. Okay? Sa mga horses natin, there is usually a specialized structure that is called as clavicular tendon to which it usually attaches etong muscle na to. Okay? So etong specific attachment na to, it allow to influence yung movement ng scapula, particularly the distal end. Okay? So ano ba yung function ng omotransversarius muscle? Yung pinaka-function niya dito is it pulls the distal end of the scapula forward. Okay? So, etong action na to, it usually contributes to the movement of the scapula and yung mobility ng shoulder girdle para ma-allow yung scapula to move forward and away from the spine. Okay? And then another one, it usually assists lateral flexion of the neck. Okay? So, yung limb, okay, etong limb na to in a weight-bearing position, like for example, if the animal is standing or moving, etong omotransversalis muscle, it usually changes its function. Instead of pulling the scapula forward, it usually assists now in lateral flexion of the neck. So this means that it usually helps in bending or tilting the neck to the side. Okay? Very important itong action na to sa mga neck movements and postural adjustments. Now we have here another one, extensor naman ng shoulder joint. Okay, we have now the muscles and the shoulder joint. We have the brachiocephalicus. So from the word itself, from the name itself, it usually extends from the head or yung cephalic and to the arm or the brachium. Okay. Now, in terms of the origin ng brachiocephalicus, it usually originates from two primary points. We have the occipital bone of the skull, and we have the transverse processes of the cervical vertebrae. Okay? So, dito nakuha yung word na to, dito nakuha yung name, okay, from these attachment points. Now, in terms of insertion, it usually inserts on the lateral side of the proximal part of the humerus, typically proximal to the deltoid tuberosity. Okay? So, etong attachment na to, it allows to influence yung movement and position of the shoulder and front limb or the thoracic limb. Now, ano yung mga functions ng muscle na to? Number one is raising and advancing the shoulder. So responsible ito in raising and advancing the shoulder. So in the protraction, meaning to say in protracting, moving forward yung forelimb. So very essential ito sa mga movement, like for example, if the animal steps forward and it will lift the limb, so that is usually the function, one of the functions of the brachiocephalicus. And then another one, extension of the shoulder. So it is usually, this is the principal extensor of the shoulder joint, the brachiocephalicus. So it extends the shoulder para ma-allow yung animal to move the forelimb backward or straighten. Okay? And then another one, lateral flexion of the neck. So if the limb is in a weight-bearing position, yung brachiocephalicus, it usually acts as a lateral flexor of the neck. So, wag kayong malilito dito na in terms of brachiocephalicus, it is a principal extensor of the shoulder joint. However, in terms of the neck, it is a flexor. Okay? It is a lateral flexor of the neck. So, meaning to say, nag-a-assist din siya in bending or tilting the neck to the side. Very important ito sa mga activities like grazing, pag nagtuturn yung head, okay, or maintain yung balance during locomotion. That is one of the functions also of this muscle. And then we have here another extensor of the shoulder. Part pa din siya ng brachiocephalicus. So usually kasi ang brachiocephalicus, it is divided into two distinct parts. We have the cleidobrachialis. Okay? So ito naman yung cleidobrachialis, it usually originates from the clavicular tendon. Okay? Representing the vestigial clavicle. And it usually extends from there to the humerus. Okay? So etong clavicular tendon, this is a unique structure, lalong-lalo na sa mga horses, that serves as a vestige of the clavicle or yung collarbone. Okay? Ano ba yung function nito? It usually extension lang din, extension of the forelimb, and nagko-contribute siya in the movement of the shoulder and elbow joint. Okay? That is number one. And then another part of brachiocephalicus, we have the cleidocephalicus. So it originates naman from the clavicular tendon and it extends from yung attachment point na yon to the head and neck region. So ang function naman nito is involved siya in movements related to the head and neck. kasi nagko-contribute siya in lateral flexion of the neck if the limb is weight-bearing. So yung sinabi ko kanina about the general function of the brachiocephalicus, that is specifically and the clidocephalicus. Now, in a species other than the horse, yung clidocephalicus, it could be further divided into a mastoid part or the clidomastoidus. So attaching now to the mastoid process of the temporal bone and either an occipital part, so sa mga ruminants and pigs, or a cervical part sa mga carnivores or what we call as the clidocervicalis. Now, another extensor of the shoulder, we have the supraspinatus. So it usually originates from the supraspinous fossa of the scapula. So I hope that you already know kung saan ninyo makikita yung supraspinous fossa. Okay? Which is now doon na siya. Okay? Doon sa area ng scapula, cranial to the spine of the scapula. That is for its origin. So for the insertion, it inserts on the greater tubercle of the humerus, and in the case of horses, it also inserts on the lesser tubercle of the humerus. Okay? So ano yung functions niya? Assisting in extending the shoulder. So yung supraspinatus, it may assist in extending the shoulder joint. So meaning to say, it moves the upper limb backward. So essential ito sa mga various activities like pag may nare-reach yung animal backward with the limb or straightening in the front limb. And then another one is stabilizing the shoulder joint. So ang pinaka-primary function naman niya to is to stabilize the ligament of the shoulder joint. So it helps to keep the head of the humerus securely in place within the shoulder joint, preventing now for this location or excessive movement of the humerus head. Now, meron tayo dito, this is one of the muscles that atrophies in sweeney in horses, a condition that results from damage to its motor innervation, the supraescapular nerve. So meron tayong tinatawag na atrophy in sweeney. So ito yung condition, sweeney, that it's a condition sa mga horses that usually result from a damage to the motor innervation of the supraspinatus, primarily the supraescapular nerve. So when the supraescapular nerve is damaged, it can lead now to muscle atrophy, or that it's a shrinkage of the supraspinatus. So anong mangyayari? It causes now na maging weak and maging dysfunction yung shoulder joint. So this could result, usually itong condition na to, it usually results from various factors like trauma or injury. Okay, doon nangyayari yon. And then another one on the shoulder joint, we have the flexors of the shoulder. We have the latissimus dorsi. Okay, so it originates from the spinous processes of the thoracic and lumbar vertebrae, primarily through the thoracolumbar fascia. Okay, so yung thoracolumbar fascia, that is a wide aponeurosis or flat sheet ng connective tissue that usually provides a broad attachment for the muscle. So for the insertion, it inserts with the muscle teres major and the medial side of the humerus. Okay, it's specifically on the upper part of the upper arm bone. For the function, strong flexor of the shoulder. So flexor siya ng shoulder, so meaning to say, it could be beneficial in bending the shoulder joint and moving the forelimb forward. And then, pulling the thoracic limb caudad. So, etong muscle na to, it has the ability to pull the thoracic limb caudal, which means it can move the forelimb in a caudal direction or toward the tail. So etong function na to, very important in walking, in running, and positioning the limb na activities ng animals natin. And then last one, advances the trunk. Okay? So if the limb is fixed in place, etong latissimus dorsi, it could assist in advancing the trunk of the animal. Very useful ito, including sa pag-shift ng weight ng body, so extending the thorax and maintaining balance. Then another flexor of the shoulder, we have the deltoid juice. So it extends from the spine of the scapula to the deltoid tuberosity of the humerus. So there are two parts of the deltoid juice. We have the scapular part, that is the scapular part of the deltoid muscle that usually extends from the spine of the scapula. Okay? So ang pinaka-function lang nito is to abduct the shoulder joint. So ano ba yung abduction that usually refers now in moving the upper limb away from the midline of the body. And then we have the acromial part of the deltoid muscle. It is also involved sa shoulder movements. So it extends naman to from the acromion process of the scapula to the deltoid tuberosity of the humerus. So, ang function naman nito is both abduction and flexion of the shoulder joint. Then another muscle, we have the infraspinatus. So it originates from the infraspinous fossa, so which is usually a concave depression located just caudal and ventral to the spine of the scapula. Okay? So dito din nakuha yung name na to, yung name ng muscle na to. It's because of the infraspinous fossa. So in terms of insertion, it inserts into the caudal part of the greater tubercle of the humerus. So ang pinaka-function nito is collateral ligament of the shoulder joint. So it acts as a strong collateral ligament of the shoulder joint. So it helps in stabilizing the shoulder joint by supporting its structure and preventing excessive or unwanted movement. So it can may abduct, okay? So ibig sabihin, etong muscle na to, it can assist in the abduction of the shoulder joint. And then flexion, it can also contribute sa flexion of the shoulder joint and outward rotation. Okay, so meron din siya palang in terms of the infraspinatus, meron din siyang atrophy in Sweeney. So this is similar to the supraspinatus na na-mention kanina. So ano ulit yung nerve? We have the suprascapular nerve. So we have here the suprascapular nerve. And then another one, we have the teres major and teres minor. So ang teres major naman, it usually originates from the dorsal part of the caudal border of the scapula. Okay, so it inserts on the teres major tuberosity, which is usually a bony prominence located on the medial side of the shaft of the humerus. So ang pinaka-function lang naman nito is as a strong flexor of the shoulder joint. And then we have the teres minor. It originates naman from the distal, okay, distal caudal border of the scapula. So it inserts on the teres minor tuberosity naman ng humerus. Okay? Ang function naman ni teres minor, they usually share the same function similar to the infraspinatus. And then we have adductors of the shoulder. We have the pectoral muscle. So it originates from the sternum. Basta pag pectoral, it is usually on the sternum, which is the breastbone. So ang pinaka-primary insertion naman nito is on the proximal part of the humerus, which is on the upper arm bone. So para tawag nito, nag-i-influensya on the movement of the forelimb. So they are usually etong pectoral muscle, it is usually divided into two primary components. We have the superficial pectoral muscle and then we have the deep pectoral muscle. Okay, so we have here the superficial pectoral muscle or the pectoralis superficialis. So this is the outermost layer of the pectoral muscle. So ang main function lang nito is to adduct the forelimb. Okay? And then we have here the another one, the deep pectoral or the pectoralis profundus. Okay, this is the deeper layer of the pectoral muscle. So ang pinaka-function, as what I've said, it is also adduction of the forelimb, similar to the superficial pectoral muscle. Pero in addition, etong deep pectoral muscle natin, it is usually involved din in advancing yung trunk when yung limb is fixed on the ground or in a weight-bearing position. And then another adductors, we have the subscapularis and then the coracobrachialis. Okay? Si subscapularis naman, it serves to stabilize yung shoulder and the medial side. So saan ito nag-i-insert? It's usually on the lesser tuberosity of the humerus. And then for the coracobrachialis, relatively small muscle siya that extends from the coracoid process and the medial side of the scapula to the medial side of the shaft of the humerus. Okay? Shoulder flexor din to. Etong coracobrachialis. Pero etong attachment na to, yung attachment ng coracobrachialis, ang attachment and yung actual function niya, it makes it as an extensor of the shoulder joint din. Okay, and then we have here another extensors of the elbow. We have the triceps brachii. So since the elbow is a hinge joint, so the muscles acting on it are either flexors or extensors. So sa mga quadrupeds animals natin, yung extensors, these are stronger than the flexors because they usually support the weight of the body by maintaining the limbs in extension position. Okay, so first is we have the triceps brachii. So we consider this one, the triceps brachii, as the strongest extensor of the elbow. Okay, so meron siyang, actually yung triceps brachii, there are 4 na heads. Pero, tawag nito, meron siyang 4. We have the long head, we have the lateral, we have the medial, and then we have the accessory head. Pero yung accessory head, it is usually common or nakikita lang natin sa mga carnivores natin, like yung mga pet animals natin. So, we have here, number 1, we have the long head. So it usually originates from the caudal border of the scapula. And then we have the lateral head. This is just, si lateral and medial, nag-originate sila from their respective sides of the humeral diaphyses. Okay? So ito yung medial head. So this is another view of the triceps brachii. So usually ito yung long head. Etong dalawa na to, these are the long heads. And then these are the lateral heads. Etong dalawa. And this is the medial head. Yung accessory head, Actually kasi ito is for tawag nito sa carnivore to. So the accessory head ito siya. Okay? Long head, lateral, medial, and then accessory. Then we have here another, the extensors of the elbow. We have another one, the unconused. Okay, in terms of the unconused naman, it's usually relatively small lang to. Relatively small muscle na makikita lang ito um, pag natanggal naman si triceps brachii. Okay? So, ang pinaka-function naman nito is extensor of the elbow joint. It extends the elbow joint. So, nag-a-assist siya in straightening the arm by working in conjunction with the triceps brachii na muscles. Okay? And then we have here the tensor fasciae antebrachii naman. It usually blends doon sa long head ng triceps brachii naman to. Okay? And then we have the latissimus dorsi. So, ang pinaka-function naman nito, yung name niya na tensor fasciae antebrachii, it reflects its action on the antebrachial fascia. Okay? Where it usually tenses the fascia. However, it also assists the triceps in extending the elbow. So it contributes to the extension of the elbow joint and provides additional support to the triceps muscle in this action. Okay, then we have another one for the flexor of the elbow. We have here the biceps brachii naman. So it usually originates on the tawag nito, supraglenoid tubercle. So nakikita natin ito just dorsal and cranial to the articular surface of the scapula. So yung insertions nito in terms of the biceps brachii, it may depend on the different species. So it usually inserts on the radial tuberosity so that it's located on the cranial aspect of the proximal radius. So one of the forearm bones. Pwede din siyang mag-insert on the medial collateral ligament of the elbow. So ano yung pinaka-function nito is it holds the shoulder joint in a position. So it assists in holding the shoulder joint in a position, which means it helps to keep the shoulder joint in its proper position. Okay? So yun yung ginagawa ni biceps brachii. Pero yung pinaka-chief na action or chief na function ng biceps brachii, that is for the flexion of the elbow joint. Then another flexors, we have the brachialis and then the pronator teres. Okay, so we move to the last topic. We have the muscles and the carpus and digits. So we have first the extensors of the carpus and digits. So we have here the extensor carpi radialis. So that is usually the largest extensor of the carpus. So it originates from the lateral, okay, lateral epicondyle of the humerus, and it is usually inserts on the metacarpal tuberosity, okay, located on the dorsal surface of the proximal end of the metacarpus. Ang pinaka-primary role lang naman nito is as an extensor. So as the name implies, extensor carpi radialis, it usually functions as an extensor of the carpus. Kasi ginawa kong general na to. Etong presentation ko kasi, extensors of the carpus and digits na. Pero yung extensor carpi radialis, it is the extensor of the carpus siya. Although meron naman kayong basis dito, meron naman kayong clue dito, we have the carpi or the carpi. Okay? So, yun yung ginagawa niya. It acts primarily as an extensor of the carpus. And then another one, we have the common digital extensor. So ito naman, it's more on the digits. So it usually originates from the lateral epicondyle of the humerus. Okay? So that is usually, yung origin niya is in close proximity to the extensor carpi radialis. And then in terms of insertion, ito naman is an the extensor process of the distal phalanx. That is the proximal ends of the middle and proximal phalanx. And then ano yung function niya? We have extensor of all joints of the digits. Yun yung pinaka-primary function ng common digital extensor muscle, to act as an extensor of all joints within the digits. So this usually includes extending the fetlock joint, yung pastern joint, and then yung mga coffin joints sa mga horses natin, for example. And then possible involvement in extending the carpus. So in some instances, etong common digital extensor muscle, it may assist in extending the carpus joint or the wrist joint natin. Okay? Possible involvement in flexing the elbow. Since yung origin niya is on the humerus, yung muscle na to, it may also have a secondary. Okay, take note of this, secondary na lang siya. Secondary role in flexing the elbow joint. And then we have here the lateral digital extensor. So it usually originates just caudal to the common digital extensor muscle. So it usually attaches now to the lateral collateral ligament of the elbow, as well as the lateral radius and ulna. Okay? So yung insertion point niya, it usually varies depending on the number of digits present in the different species natin. Okay? So in terms of pigs, yung lateral digital extensor muscle, it usually inserts on the fourth and fifth digits, okay, which are the outermost digits. Sa mga ruminants, like yung mga ruminants natin, usually yung muscle, it inserts on the middle phalanx of the fourth digit. And then for the horses, since meron lang silang single na digit, yung lateral digital extensor muscle, it inserts on the proximal phalanx of the third digit. Okay? Ang pinaka-primary function, as based from dito, is extend yung mga digits natin. And then another one, we have the extensor carpi ulnaris. So it usually originates naman from the lateral epicondyle of the humerus. Okay, that is a bony projection of the on the upper arm bone. So ang insertion naman niya is it usually extends downward over the lateral side of the carpus. And then we have here extensor carpi obliquus. So that is, it arises from the craniolateral aspect of the distal half of the radius, which is one of the bones of the forearm. So yung tendon ng extensor carpi obliquus, it usually takes an oblique path across the cranial aspect of the carpus. So it usually crosses medially and it lies superficial to the tendon of the extensor carpi radialis. So yung insertion nito, etong muscle na to, it usually inserts on the most medial metacarpal bone. Okay? So it could vary naman in different animals natin. Like for example, in horses, it inserts on the second metacarpal bone. Sa cow and sheep, it usually inserts on the third metacarpal bone. And then for the pig, it inserts on the second metacarpal bone. So, yun lang ang pinaka-primary function ng extensor carpi obliquus, that is to extend and abduct the carpus. And then we have here the flexors of the carpus and digits. We have the flexor carpi radialis that is usually originates from the medial epicondyle of the humerus. And then it inserts on the palmar aspect of the proximal end of the metacarpus, particularly on the medial side. Okay? Ang pinaka-primary function lang naman nito is to flex the carpus or yung wrist joint natin. And then we have the flexor carpi ulnaris. It originates from the medial epicondyle of the humerus, just like yung flexor carpi radialis din. Okay? So it inserts on the accessory carpal bone naman to. Okay? And then ang pinaka-unique na feature lang nito is yung mismong leverage. Okay? Leverage in flexing the carpus. So by inserting on the accessory carpal bone, it can exert a force and leverage when contracting. So it will contribute now to the flexion of the carpus and its stability. Then we have here, second to the last one, the superficial digital flexor, or it is also known as flexor digitorum superficialis. Okay, so it has an origin from its specific bony attachments on the limb. So unlike sa later on sa deep na digital flexor muscle, which inserts on the distal phalanx, etong superficial digital flexor muscle, it inserts primarily on the proximal part of the middle phalanx of each digit. Okay? So ang pinaka-primary function ng muscle na to is to flex the digits, particularly affecting the middle phalanx. So yung flexion ng middle phalanx, it involves now yung bending ng middle bone of the digit. So very essential ito sa mga limb movements. So in horses, the tendon of this muscle, it inserts on the palmar aspect of the proximal end of the middle phalanx and the distal end of the proximal phalanx. So etong specific insertion na to, it allows the muscle to control and execute precise movements of the phalanges during various activities ng animals natin. Okay? And then we have the last one, the deep digital flexor, or what we call as the flexor digitorum profundus. So it originates, same lang din naman siya from the proximal digital flexor, including lang yung humerus, the radius, and then we have the ulna. So in terms of the tendon path, okay, yung long and stout tendon of the digitorum profundus, it usually extends distally through the carpal canal. Okay, that it's a tunnel-like structure in the carpus. So yung tendon, it then runs along the palmar side of the metacarpus to reach the digits. Okay, so yung tendon, it inserts on the palmar surface of the distal phalanges. Ang pinaka-primary function lang naman nito is just to flex the digits, including the bending of the joints of the digit. So it is the only muscle, take note of this, it is the only muscle that usually flexes the distal interphalangeal joint. Okay? And then vital for various limb movements and activities that usually require flexion of the digits and their related joints. And then provide support for the fetlock joint, which is an important weight-bearing joint in the limb. So this ends my discussion about the muscles and the thoracic limb.